slicing, or we can call indexing, slicing, and indexing. So what is the general meaning for the slicing? Slice. What is the general meaning for the slice? Yes, type in the chat. See, for example, if I want to eat an apple, so first we will cut it into pieces. Here, each piece is called a slice, right? Whenever if you slice the data, then it becomes easy for us to process the data. Let us observe this. I'm taking A equals to Srinivas. So whenever I'm printing this A, at the time I'm getting the entire information which it contains in the A. Whatever the data that it is having in the A, it is returning, okay, Srinivas. Otherwise, if I want to access a single character, or if I want to access a part, sub part of this Srinivas, so at the time that we have to do the slicing. So once if you do the slicing on the data, then only it is possible to return the required data in this A. So before starting this slicing, first we have to know that what is the indexing here. So what is the index for the first character? What is the index for the last character? How this indexing will works, right? So for that, let us observe this. So this is the Srinivas. So what is the index for the first position? What is the index for the first position? So the index is starts from 0, not from 1. Here in Python programming, the indexing is starting from 0. So that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the last slicing it is 7. So if you observe here, we are moving in the forward direction. We are moving in the forward direction, right? So that is from left to right. This is called left to right indexing. Left to right indexing, that is forward direction. The same if you want to observe the indexing from right to left. So this is the left to right, right? The same thing, okay, that if you want to observe that what is the slicing from right to left indexing, this direction that we can call right to left indexing. So this right to left indexing that we can call it is a backward direction. Backward direction. So here the indexing that it is starts with -1, means the last character indexing is -1 at the time of working from right to left, that is in the backward direction. So this is slicing that we can call it is a negative indexing also. This reverse, okay, backward slicing that we can call it is a, okay, negative indexing. So let us observe and then try to understand this slicing concept with a simple data. Why? Because this slicing concept that we are going to continue up to the end of the course. In our data science, by using Python programming, before doing the analysis on the data, first we have to extract the data from the different sources. In the process of extraction, we are going to extract only the required data. So at the time of selecting only the required data, we have to slice the data. We have to know about what is the indexing, how to slice, So that is the reason we are going to use this slicing concept, okay, up to end of the course. So if you understand this slicing concept on this simple data, then it is easy for you to understand on the upcoming data structures. So now I am working only on the simple string. In upcoming sessions that we are going to use this slicing on different data structures. That we are going to use this slicing concept on one dimension data structure, two dimension data structures, multi-dimension data structures, and all this. If you understand this slicing concept now, then it becomes easy for us to understand the in upcoming sessions. Otherwise, it is very difficult, and also it is one of the confusion topic without understanding, without practicing. Okay. Once again, let us observe here. So this is the data. So what is the indexing for this means? Okay, the index that it is starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, this we can call it is a positive indexing. That is left to right indexing, or also we can call it is a forward direction. So next coming to this right to left indexing, this we can call it is a negative indexing. So the negative indexing starts with -1. Okay, this we can call it is a backward direction. So now what is the position for this first character in this Srinivas means either that you can take the positive index or negative index. So the time of accessing with the positive index that we can access by using 0. Otherwise, whenever if you want to access with negative indexing at the time that we can access with -8. Either that we can access with 0 or that we can access with -8. So it is better to access with a positive slicing, that is 0. Next, coming to the last character in this Srinivas. So what is the position? What is the indexing for this S means 7 is the positive index, -1 is the negative index. So at the time of accessing the last character, so it is better to access with the negative indexing. Why? Because positive means you have to count that, okay, what is the last position. Positive means from left to right, that we have to count that what is the last indexing. But if you observe the, okay, in the negative indexing, simply it is, okay, starts with the -1. So like that we can access either by using a positive or by using a negative. So based on our convenience that we are going to choose either it is a positive index or negative index. So this is the indexing. So based on this indexing, now we are going to start the slicing. So what are the syntaxes that we are having means we are having some syntaxes. So let us observe these syntaxes. First syntax that is based on the position, right? So whenever that if you want to access a single character, a single data, either it is a single row or single column. So present we are working on the simple data. So once we, okay, entered into the data structures, there we are going to access the data, okay, single dimension data, single row or single column, and so on. So at the time that we are going to use, okay, the syntax, okay, one, it is A is the variable, A of position. So just now that we discussed that positive index is left to right, starts with 0, that is 0, 1, 2, so and so. Negative indexing, that is right to left, okay, it is starts with -1, like -1, -2 in the backward direction. So based on this, let us start to work. So I'm taking that A equals to Srinivas. So already that I assign the Srinivas to the variable A. Now, if I want to access the first character means not it is 1. Already that we know the first character, it will starts with okay, the indexing, it is 0. By using this 0, that we can access only the first character like this. Otherwise, the same first character by using the negative indexing also that we can access. So what is the position? What is the indexing for the first character means? So that is -8. So either that we can take A of 0 or A of -8. but mostly that will prefer to take the 0 only. Now I want to access the last character. So whenever if you want to slice the last character, the position for the last character, it is the 7. It is the 7. So like this that we can access by using negative indexing, that is -1. Okay, we can access like this. But mostly that will prefer to access by using a negative indexing, okay, from right to left. So from right to left, S is the first character. So it is easy for us to access A of -1 instead of counting the positive indexing. So A of -4. Can you please type in the chart? A of -4. What is the value it written now? Simple. -1. So we have to move in this right to left. Why? Because -4 is right to left, right? -1, -2, -3, -4. So I is the okay character in -4. A of 5. So be ready, okay, to type in the chart. So please open your chart parallelly and then respond. Fifth, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. V. V. A of 10. A of 10. So just now that we observe the indexing, okay, it is up to 7 only. So there is no 10 indexing in our data. So it is okay, that is 10 is the out of range, right? So our string index is out of range, so that we'll get an error. So let us observe the error type also. Why? Because if you know this error type, then it is easy for us to understand that what is the problem, what is the error. So whenever that you're getting the value error, name error, type error, okay, or index error. Index error means, okay, the problem with index, okay, there is a that position is not there in that index, right? So like this that we have to, okay, understand the errors here. So it is very easy to access a single position, but whenever if you, okay, whenever if I want to access, for example, let us observe here, yeah, this is the data, right? So in this data, I want to subset some subpart, like substring I want to access, like SRI, Sri, or I want to access the Nivas. So at the time that we have to use the syntax 2. So syntax 1 is only to access the single character, right? So whenever if you want to access some subpart in the string, so at the time that we are going to use the syntax 2, that is from starting to ending, that begin indexing and begin indexing and end indexing, begin position, end position that we have to give, right? So let us observe here. Now my requirement is that I want to slice the first 3 characters, that is I want to subset Sri from Srinivas, so that we know that it is starting with 0, next it is 1, next it is 2. So as per the syntax that I am giving there, starting with 0 colon, what is the ending value? I am giving 2. But one point that we have to note here, so at the time of working with this second syntax, at the time of working with this second syntax, so it returns the substring from begin index 2, begin index 2, end -1 index, not end index, begin index to n minus 1 index. So that is the reason here it is returning only SR, not SRI. Why? Because it is not stopping at the position 2, it is stopping at the position n minus 1, that is 2 minus 1 at the position 1 only. So that is the reason we are getting 0, 1, that is SR. So if you want to access the SRI at the time, that what you have to do means 0, 2 means SRI, that is 0, 1, 2. I want to stop. I want to end at 2, position 2. So here we have to take the 3. Why? Because if you take the 3, n minus 1 index, that is 3 minus 1. Okay, it will stop at 2 and then it will return the SRI. So this is one of the important point that we have to observe at the time of working. Returns substring from begin to begin index to end minus one index, end minus one index, right? So now based on this, now I want to return the Nivas. Now I want to return the Nivas from the Srinivas. Can you please slice this data? N is the starting from. What is the begin index here? 0, 1, 2, 3. So we have to start with A of 3 colon. What is the end value? That is 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 means here I am taking 8. Why? Because n minus 1 indexing, that is 8 minus 1, it is 7. So like this that we can access the data. And one more thing, by default here, by default it will starts with the position 0, and by default it is going to ends at the last position. What I am saying here means, even if you not specify the begin position and ending position, by default it is going to start with 0 and ending at last position. So here same syntax, same slicing. So without giving, without giving the begin index, see, let us observe here what it will happen. A of, so if you not give the begin, by default it is going to take the starting position, that is 0. So SRI. For attaining this Nivas, actually we return A of 3 colon 8, right? So here 3 is mandatory that we have to specify the begin index, and 8 is not required. By default it is going to ends up to the last position. So these are the default values that you are having. So based on this default, it is working. Otherwise, if I not take any begin index and end index, so by default starting with 0 and ending with the last, so the entire string it returns, the entire string it returns. Now A of -4 colon -1. So can you please respond for this? So Srinivas is the data. In this Srinivas, begin value I'm taking it is -4, and end value I'm taking it is -1. So here one point that we have to note it is, one point that we have to note here it is, so at the time of accessing the data from 0 to 2, it is starting with S and it is returning R, means it is incrementing with 1. Every time it is incrementing with 1. That is the reason it is moving to the next character. So let us observe 0 to 3. First it is S, next it is R, next it is I. One by one it is incrementing. In this 3 colon 8, so 3 is N. So next 1 by 1, the step value it is taking 1 and then it is returning. Here also coming to the -4, that is -1, -2, -3, -4. -4 is the begin value, that is I. -4 is the I. Next, coming to the -1, don't forget the format that it is. It returns a substring from begin index to the n-1 index. So as per this, it is ending at the n-1. So present the n value, it is -1. So -1, next -1 is the end value, right? So it will end at n-1. That is -1 -1, it becomes -2. -1 it becomes -2. So what is the position of this -2? A is the position, that is I V A. So it returns I V A. So don't forget the end value. End is always n-1 in the syntax too. It is default. So now A of -1 colon -4. Now what is the output? What is the output that returns? -1 colon -4. See, In all these cases, every time it is incrementing with 1. So from starting with 3, 3 plus 1, next it is 4, 4 plus 1, 5, 5 plus 1, 6 plus 1. Finally, it is stopping at 7. Similarly, here also, minus 4 plus 1. How much? It is minus 3. So that is the reason it is returning V. Minus 3 plus 1, it is minus 2. It is stopping at minus 2. Similarly, in this also, it will every time it will increment by 1. The step value by default is going to take with 1, and then it will start to moving from this begin to ending. So minus 1 to minus 4 means minus 1 plus 1, how much? It becomes 0. Next, 0 plus 1, it is 1. 1 plus 1, it is 2. 2 plus 1, it is 3. Okay, is it possible to reach up to minus 4 in this slicing? Are you getting my point? With the increment of plus 1, every time, okay, it is adding 1 to this slicing, minus 1 plus 1, and plus 1 plus 1, it is possible to reach up to minus 4? No. Here it is not possible to move. First thing, it is not possible to move from this begin to ending. Minus 1, what is the minus 1? S, the last character. What is the minus 4? I is the last character. So in this syntax, every time the data is returning from left to right only. In all the examples that we observe, that the data is returning from left to right only. Why? Because every time here, okay, step value, it is positive 1. So that is the reason it is returning from left to right. So here also, it will try to return the data from left to right. But based on this indexing, it is not possible to move from S to I in the forward direction. So starting with S, after that, nothing is there to print, okay, to reach up to minus 4. So here it returns the empty string. It returns the empty string. See? So it must starts with the begin, that is lower to higher only, right? So A of 20. So already that we know that it raises an error. Why? Because index is out of range. But if I take like this, A of 1 colon 20. So starting from the position 1, that is 0, 1, from R onwards. So up to N it will return. So even if you take a 20 also, not a problem. Not a problem. So there is no error in this indexing. So up to the last character, it will return. So like this, that okay, we'll work with the syntax true. Like this, that we can work with the syntax true. So in this syntax 2, we are returning the data in the forward direction. And also we are returning, okay, we are every time that we are incrementing the value with 1. Every time the step value, it is taking 1 by default. Otherwise, if I want to return the data, if I want to return the data like this, first S, next to I, next to I, next to A. So if I want to return the data like this from the Srinivas, so here every time the value is incrementing by 2, not 1. If it is 1, so it will next character it returns S, but I'm incrementing by 2, so that is the reason I'm getting I, next it is I, next it is A. Otherwise, if I want to return the data like this, SAVINIRS. See, let us observe SAVINIRS. So what I'm doing here, I'm returning the data in the reverse order. That is in the backward direction, right? So at that time, if you want to slice the data like this, then we have to follow the syntax 3. Syntax 3. So let us observe the third syntax. Why? Because in syntax 2, we don't have an option to change the step value, that is increment value, and only with the begin and end only that we can work. So coming to this syntax 3, this syntax 3 is very important here. So the syntax that it is starting with begin, ending, ending index, and step. This steps plays the main role in this syntax. The entire slicing that will work based on this step value. And this step, okay, either that you are taking a positive or negative, completely the slicing, the indexing is totally depends on the step positive value or step negative value, right? But one thing that we have to note here, by default the step value is positive. By default the step value is +1. +1 is the default value. So here in this syntax too, I'm not taking any step value, right? So by default it is going to take the step value is, by default it is going to take, okay, it is taking the step value is +1, +1. So that is the reason every time that we are, okay, the values are incrementing with +1. That is the reason, okay, we are returning the data in the sequence order. That is the reason we are returning the data in the forward direction, because of this step value. Now if you want to change the step value, so we can change either it is a positive or negative. So let us start working here. So just now that we discussed that in this Srinivas that I want to return SIIA. So here what we are doing means A of starting with 0, 0, and what is the last character here that I want to return? A means, so what is the position for this A? It is the 6, 6, right? So 6 means if I take 6, the end is n-1, so it will stop at, okay, 5 only, right? So that is the reason I'm taking 7, 7. So if I return like this from starting S2 up to the 7th position, it will returns in the sequence order. That is not our requirement, right? So our requirement is every time that I have to do some, okay, increment, that is 2, then only it is possible to return IA after S. So A of starting with 0, the end index it is a 7. Every time that we have to take, okay, by default it is 1. So that is the reason. Even if you not take 1 also, you'll get the same output. Why? Because default step value is 1 there. So here I'm taking the step value is 2. Now it is going to increment with 2, and then it will stop up to the, okay, A. So SIIA. Now, 0 is mandatory to specify. The begin value 0 is mandatory. No, without, by default, it is going to take as 0 only. Even if you not specify the begin value, by default, it is going to take as it starts with 0. Next, what about the ending? At the time of slicing this data, it is mandatory to give the ending value? See, we are stopping up to A, right? So after incrementing this 2, nothing is there to print in this position. Okay, if you are incrementing with 1, okay, then it is mandatory to take this end value. Why? Because, okay, next character will print. But coming to here, coming to this, not required. Why? Because with the increment of 2, no value is no value, okay, is there in this position. So even if you not specify, even if you not take the last ending index also, okay, no problem. But step value that we have to take it as a 2 whenever if you want to return like this, check it, colon 2. It's a very simple, right? My requirement is that I want to slice the data, return the Srinivas in the reverse order. In the reverse order. So already that we observe that all this data it is returning from left to right. The reason here with the step value. So if the step value is positive, it returns from left to right, that is in the forward direction. If the step value is negative, if you take the step value is negative, then it returns from right to left. So it is better to know some points in this syntax tree. Why? Because it is completely depends on the step value, right? So what I am doing here means I am taking that step is positive. positive. So what is the default step value? Default, even if you're not okay, default step is +1 is the default step value. So if the step value is positive, then it will returns in the forward direction. Forward direction. That is left to right. Left to right. So what is the default begin value at the time of okay working at the time of working with positive step value means, so by default it is going to start with 0. What is the default okay end value? Here it is n minus 1. N minus 1 default end, it is up to the length of the string. Up to the length of the string, the end value it will ends at n minus 1. N minus 1. So these are the points that we have to note. And one more thing, in this forward direction, okay, it is going to take the values in the positive indexing. Positive index. Even if you specify the negative indexing, even if you try to return the data in the negative indexing, but this forward direction, okay, it is going to consider as a positive only. Means what I'm saying here means that we know that with example I will show it you. So this is the data, right? This is the data. So now what I am doing here means a of -4 colon -1. Just now that we discussed. -4 means okay I, -1 means s. Okay. So here begin value, end value. By default, what is the step value here? Even if you not specify, it is 1. So based on this step value, here Python is going to consider this okay indexing in positive or negative. Means if you're taking the step value, if you're taking the step value is positive, here it is going to consider the begin value and end value in the positive only. Means even if you take the begin value in negative, it will convert into positive and then it will do the slicing. Are you getting my point? Okay. So that it is totally depends on this step value. If step value is positive, Python will take or convert. If it is positive, it is okay. If it is negative, it will convert into positive only. Otherwise, if the step value is negative at the time, here it is negative, no problem. Otherwise, if you try to return based on the positive values, okay, it convert into negative and then it will slice, right? So this point is also very important. It is positive indexing. Next, coming to the step value is negative. Step value is negative, right? So negative is not a default step value. We have to specify at the time of returning the data in the backward direction. The time of returning the data in backward direction, right? So that is backward direction. The data is going to return in the backward direction. That is right to left. So here, okay, it is going to work based on the negative indexing. It is going to work based on the negative indexing. But the point it is actually at the time of working with the step value, positive step value, end stops at n minus 1. But here, end stops at end plus 1. Don't confuse this. This is very important here. At the time of working with the positive step value, end is n minus 1. At the time of okay working with this negative step value, here the end is n plus 1. So now, what is the default begin value? What is the default begin value? So here the data is returning from right to left to right. So in at the time of returning from right to left, the default begin it is starting with small s. So small s means it is starting with -1. -1. So what is the default end value means length? It depends on the length of the string. So present we are working on the string. Okay. Otherwise, while working with the single dimension data structures or two or multi, at the time it is going to select the last up to the last position if you're not specifying. So these are all the points that we have to know at the time of working with the third syntax. So third syntax is very important. So most of the cases that we are going to use this third syntax only, right? So let us observe here. Start, okay, work with some examples, then it becomes easy for us. Okay, now my requirement is that I want to uh, return the data in the reverse order, completely reverse order. So what we will do here, A of, so reverse means that is left to right. What I am going to do here means this S I am going to take, okay, the position it is -1. Next, what is the last position? It is -8. So if I take -8 here, okay, if you take -8, then what is the step value? So anyhow, reverse that is in the backward direction, so that we have to take the negative indexing. So the negative indexing, either it is a -1 or -2 or -3, it is totally depends on the how much of, okay, step that you have to move. So here I want to move only one to return the entire data. I'm taking -1. But minus is very important. Taking a negative value is very important at the time of returning the data in the backward direction. If you not take the step value, by default it is going to take as a +1, that is a positive, so it returns in the forward direction, right? So now -8 is the end value, right? So already that we observe that n is, while working with the negative step value, here the n is n+1. N+1 means -8 plus 1, it will stop at -7 only. Then it returns only up to the R, from S to R, not last character. So here we have to take -8. So if you take -8, then end is n+1, that is -9 is equals to -9 plus 1. It will stop at -8. Okay, it will return up to the last character. So let us check it. The entire string is reversed. Now, begin value at the time of working with the negative step value, by default it is -1, right? By default begin value is -1, so it's not required to specify -1. Next, I want to return up to the last character. So by default the last value, okay, it is up to the length of the string, so no need to specify the end value also. Simply by using colon colon -1, that we can return the data. Already in the okay, Python introduction, that we used this colon colon -1, but at that time just we, okay, reverse the string only, but we don't know that what is the, okay, meaning of this colon colon and what is the subject of this colon colon -1. So I think now it is clear for you why we are using simply colon colon -1 for reversing the string, right? So like this, the same indexing that we can use like this with default values. So like this that we can slice, but one thing, okay, let us check the step value. Let us check this step value. If the step value is negative, let us consider these values also negative. Even it is positive also, let us convert into negative and then let us slice the data, right? If the step value is positive, let us, okay, okay, take this begin and end value as a positive. Otherwise, if it is negative, let us change it into positive, then slice the data. Otherwise, that you will get the confuse. Right. So now a of 0 colon 8 colon -2. Yes, can you please respond? What is the data? Now it will slice. I'm starting with 0, ending with 8, and every time include, okay, step value that I am taking it is -2. So in this Srinivas, okay, -2 means that I am returning in the reverse order, right? That is in the backward direction. It's completely depends on the step value. Either forward or backward, it is completely depends on the step value. So in this backward direction, I'm taking 0. 0 means it is a positive index, right? But We are walking in the backward direction. So we have to convert this 0 into negative indexing. So what is the negative indexing for this 0? It is minus 8. Minus 8, right? So next coming to the 8. So there is no 8 here. There is no, okay, 8 position here, right? So anyhow, starting from here and from in this 8th position, 7, 8th position, returning in the reverse order, it is not possible, right? With the decrement of minus 2, it is not possible to move from here to here. So simple. It returns empty string. It returns empty string. A of 2 colon minus 7 with a positive value. Positive step value. Simple. Here it is. Step value is positive. Let us convert these values also positive. Already it is in positive. Minus 7. Let us convert this minus 7 into positive. So what is the minus 7? Okay. Minus 1, 2, 3. Up here it is minus 7. So R is the minus 7. Okay. So if you convert this into positive, then it is 1. Why? Because 0, 1. So now we are going to returning from 2 to 1. Now we are going to try to returning the data from 2 to, let us check it, 2 to 1. Nothing is there, right? From 2 to 1, nothing is there to print. So A of minus 7 minus 1 minus 2. What it returns now? From minus 7 to minus 1 in the reverse order with minus 2, nothing. Nothing it returns. So this is the A data, right? So be ready with the chart. A of minus 2 colon minus 7 minus 2. What is the output? Minus 2, backward direction. What is the minus 2? A. What is the minus 7? This one. So end is minus 7 plus 1, it will stop at I. So from here, A, I. Check it. Now, A of minus 7 colon minus 2 colon 2. 2. So here the step value is positive. So this negative begin value, negative end value, so we have to convert into positive. So minus 7 means it is 1. Minus 2 means it is 6. So from 1 to 6 with increment of 2 means from starting to here, right? So now it is, we are working with this positive step value, right? We are working with the positive step value. Minus 2 means here it is positive value, it is 6. 6 minus 1, n minus 1, that is 5. So from here to 5th position is this, right? From here to here, it will returns with increment of 2 means starting R, next to N, next to V, R and V. So like this, that we have to slice the data. If you know these concepts, what is the step value, what are the, okay, what is the increment value, what is the end value, what is the default values, then it is easy. And also lot of practice is required here. Lot of practice is required. Let us take the different data. So here I'm taking that b equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. Let us start doing the slicing on this data. If I want to slice the second one, so it is easy to understand with these numbers, okay, slicing the data in the reverse by taking a different step values, and so on. And also practice the operators also. So already we work with an operators that A equals to 10, B equals to 20. If I do the addition of this A plus B, it returns to 30. But X is Srinivas, and Y data I am taking Reddy, the second name. So XY data. If I return X, it returns Srinivas. If I return Y, it returns Reddy. If I do X plus Y, it will work or not? It will work or not? While applying on the numerical data, it is working and then it is returning the, it is the 10 plus 20, it is 30. But now this plus operator that I am applying on the strings. So now what is the output it returns? Whether it will works or not. Actually, it is not possible to work in other programming languages. But coming to here, actually, what is the meaning of the plus operator in between these two operands means? So this is the addition here. We are working on the numerical operand, so that is the reason it is taking as an addition. Okay, additional operator under arithmetic. But coming to this plus here, this is not the addition. Why? Because we are working on the strings, right? We are combining these two strings. So now this plus is going to work as a concatenation. This plus is working as a concatenation. So this plus is different and this plus is different. So this plus is the addition, this plus is the concatenation. This plus is doing the sum, this plus is doing, okay, combining the two strings, right? So now it returns that it is Srinivas Reddy. Why? Because it is concatenating these two strings. It is concatenating the two strings. So A into 10. So A value is 10. Again, I am multiplying with 10. A into 10, it is 10 into 10. It returns 100. Now X into 10. So X is the string value, that is Srinivas. Now I am multiplying with 10. So here, this, okay, multiplication, this star is different, this star is different. This star, we can call it is a multiplication which comes under the arithmetic. This is star that we can call it is the repetition. Why? Because present we are working on the string, right? So here this star is called the repetition. Here it is repeating the values 10 times. Here it is repeating the values 10 times, right? So these type of things that you have to learn based on the practicals only.